right, Undersheriff, you ready when you are? I'm going to bring the arrest documents as soon as we're done.
Good afternoon. I'm Undersheriff Pat Ivey with the Jacksonville Sheriff's Office. I'm glad you could come today. I wish it was under better circumstances. This is to make the announcement that we arrested an employee by the name of Lisa Davis. She is a corrections officer. She's worked with the agency for almost 7 years. She is assigned at the pretrial detention facility, the jail. Back at the middle of this month, September, she was selected for a random drug testing, which is part of our policy in which employees are susceptible to random drug, pre-employment random drug test, or there's a few other scenarios in which they can get selected for drug testing. Upon supplying a sample to our contracted, the entity that does the testing for us, we were notified that she had a failed sample. We've had several failed samples before, but usually for positive traces of narcotics and illegal substances, but this was because the sample was not human urine. So the integrity unit started an investigation where they brought the employee in and they did some preliminary questioning. Initially, the employee said that no, she had provided urine, her urine as she said, but she had admitted to using illegal narcotics, which kind of baffled us. Why would you admit to that but not the other? So we provided the elements of the case to the state attorney's office, and we got a warrant for her arrest. We arrested her this morning. She gave additional information, and we required her to give an additional sample. But she did make admissions in reference to the use of illegal narcotics, to include heroin. She has since today resigned from her position with the agency, and she was booked into the jail, and she's working her way through that process, I think, to be released. Because the way the warrant was obtained, I believe that she was given the opportunity to ROR, be released. And I will take a few questions.
Any questions?
Yes. You mentioned the other scenarios in which someone would be drug tested.
Yes.
Pre-employment screening.
Yes.
What are some of the other scenarios?
It's all bound by our written directives, civil service rules and regulations, and contractual obligations that we have with the various unions that represent the members of the agency. This particular employee, the corrections officer, she could be drug tested pre-employment, which I'm sure she was, random as her name randomly pops up. We do those monthly, so we do many in a year. I myself have even been drug tested randomly in my career. And also when you're moving to or away from an assignment in which you will be handling or be in close proximity or use illegal narcotics or narcotics position, things of that nature. So we can provide you a copy of our drug testing policy if you'd like. We actually have a policy that spells it out.
Just to be clear, you said that she admitted to using drugs, heroin including, but did not admit to the... Initially,
when she provided the sample, and we determined, or we were told that it was not, it was a failed sample, that it was not human urine. She said that it was urine, but she admitted to using heroin. Since then, she has given additional information, and she told us exactly what she did in reference to that. She mixed a couple of items. I'm not going to name them specifically for you, but she mixed a few things together and provided it as a sample, and none of which was human urine.
Was it urine at all?
No.
Okay.
When she was, oh, sorry,
No, you're fine.
when she was drugged, then you guys drug tested her again? I mean, did you find her with her system? Or did she
We're
just-
awaiting the results.
Okay, you're waiting the results. When do you
Yes.
guys think you'll get back?
We should have already received them.
Okay, so by the time 5 o'clock comes around, we'll get emails.
Maybe. This is how we'll play that scenario,
Okay.
so you don't bombard the PIOs. If they get an update from Integrity before 5 o'clock, you guys will get an email. If you don't get it, that means it's not available.
Okay, so at this point,
Yes.
And what charges does she face?
It's Florida State statute. You've got a copy of the docket, I believe it. You've all got a copy. You're all getting a copy of the docket. The name of the charge is unlawful to willfully defraud or attempt a lawful administered urine test or analysis.
Any other questions?
Is she still in the system right now, or has she been already released?
It's going to be close. It's close. So she may be still over in the system.
Any other questions?
Did she acknowledge having taken any other drugs aside from heroin?
Illegally?
Yeah.
Because heroin's obviously you can't get that
Right.
legally. I wouldn't get into any other. I think maybe some pain pills, some Loratabs, I think was a name given, but I don't recall anything other than that, which you know is an opiate derivative, so it's the same thing.
How big of a surprise is this to you guys to have an officer come up for this scenario to have happened?
Does it surprise me?
Yeah.
No. Earlier in the year, we had 3 employees fail the same drug test. When the names come up in a batch, we had 3 individuals, 3 different drugs fail in a batch that came up. When we got the results back on the same day, 3 of them. Hence, none of them work with us anymore either. They did provide human urine, though, to test. So it doesn't surprise me. It does that I wish if there were issues that they needed help with, they would come forward before something like this, because you throw a career down the drain. This is one of the challenges of recruiting new people to come to work at an agency. We have these kind of rules. We're not going to let you skate on these kind of rules. Like in the private sector, it may not be an issue for you, but here at the Jacksonville Sheriff's Office is going to be, and that's one of the challenges of keeping the positions filled.
And is the natural protocol that person will be released, or do they get written up and get a second chance, or is it normally protocol?
Did you say national?
No, is the natural protocol to have them released, that they are released from their job, you know?
They would be afforded the every right. So civil service always also provides them the right for the administrative piece. Remember, today I'm announcing the arrest. The arrest is the criminal part of it. Once that is dealt with, then it would move to an administrative proportion, which would have to do with their job. She decided to resign today, so she terminated basically her employment with us. She would be given the same rights that she could through when our internal affairs would get the case, would then begin an investigation administratively to look for policy violations, to include the violation of law as one of the charges, and she would have the ability to, I guess, have her day in court administratively, where they can go to a disciplinary hearing board here that the agency has. She could take it to a civil service board, which is a board of civilians, which would review it, or an arbitrator. She has those options available to her. She chose not to do that. She chose to resign today.
Has there been any evidence of any kind of drug affecting her duties as an officer?
I haven't been made aware of any. But that's why we have these types of things, because in the correction setting, the care, custody, and control of inmates, you got to be on your A game.
Okay, since we know that you're not surprised that this has been a problem, what sort of measures are you taking to kind of make sure your correction officers aren't getting drugs or getting all they need?
This, what I'm doing right here. Not necessarily the news conference, but the system works. Here we are arresting an employee, which we didn't have to, for the violation, and embarrassing for her, I'm sure. I wish it didn't have to happen this way, and now the community sees it, and she loses her career. So, yes.
With the admission of drug use, specifically heroin, is it likely she'll face any drug charges?
Use of drugs is not a violation. use.
Right.
Use.
Okay.
You're talking about criminally is what you're talking about, charges.
Right.
Yeah. If you were to tell me that you have a drug problem, that's not against the law. If I catch you in possession or attempting to sell, manufacture, things of that nature, that's a violation.
So if traces showed up in her urine, that would.
No. Administratively, yes. Hence, that's why we administer the drug test. And I told you just a few minutes ago that we had 3 individuals, probably about 4 months ago, that I think we had 6 names in that batch that were chosen for the random, and 3 failed the drug test because the analysis revealed drugs.
Was it heroin or what kind of drug was it? Do you remember?
One of them was marijuana, one of them was opiate derivative pain pills, and one of them I think was cocaine, if I'm recalling correctly. So,
Any other questions?
perfect.